So welcome guys back to another video in the channel. We are doing our Premier League predictions for match day 14 now of the Premier League. And just before we get into this video, if you haven't already, please go check out my FPL Fantasy League right now. It is above, and click the link in the description box down below to take you to the way to sign up for this league. And hopefully you guys joining these are the leaders above. So let's get straight into the predictions, starting off with the first match on the Saturday football, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Now we are going to look at the previous results of the sides. First of all, Crystal Palace, who did actually draw 1-1 to Everton. Christian Benteke scored in the 34th minute before Sebastian Haller scored an absolute screamer in the 55th minute, securing a draw for Crystal Palace after a draw against Spurs. So Crystal Palace will be hoping to win this one, but for Liverpool, they went top of the table with Mohamed Salah and Bobby Firmino scoring in a 2-1 win over Spurs. Spurs scoring via Heung-min Son as a consolation. But Liverpool 28 points now of 13 games and are top of the league above Tottenham Hotspur, and that was a huge win for them, and they will be looking to build on this from Crystal Palace game. Crystal Palace sit 12th with 18 points of 13 games, and we'll be hoping to pick up some more points here. Do I see it? I don't think so. I think Liverpool in a good run now, and they will be looking to keep a hold of that top spot. So in this game I will give Liverpool a 3-1 win in this one. Next game is Southampton versus Manchester City. Now again, for Manchester City, they drew 1-1 at the hands of West Brom, meaning the sacking of Slaven Bilic, even though they drew to Manchester City with Ilkay Gundogan and Ruben Diaz with an own goal, making it 1-1 for Man City and West Brom. Man City not the greatest start to this league campaign, and will be looking to do better in this game against Southampton. Southampton on the other hand, same scoreline, but this time against Arsenal. Theo Walcott scoring a good goal before Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang equalised for Arsenal. But Southampton again will be looking to get some points over Manchester City, as Southampton in the league table actually do sit third with 24 points of 13 games, where Manchester City have 20 points of 12 games with that game in hand that they had from the start of the season. But I think in this game, Man City, Pep Guardiola will rile his team up, and I do think they will win this game. It won't be the most comfortable, but I will give Manchester City a 2-1 win in this one. Next game is Everton versus Arsenal. I've already made a preview on this on my channel, so I'm not going to go into too much depth in this one, but Mikel Arteta and Arsenal side, they need to get some points on the board now. Situation's looking very bleak in 15th position heading into January, so Everton will be a tough task as they have won their last two games against Everton and Chelsea, but let's see how the two teams do in this one. The last of the Saturday games is Newcastle versus Fulham. Now looking at the previous results of the two teams, first of all, Newcastle, they did actually lose 5-2 at the hands of Leeds United. Jeffrey Hendricks scored for Newcastle before Patrick Bamford, Rodrigo Moreno, Stuart Dallas, Alioski and Harrison getting 5 goals for Leeds United to secure a win for them. On the other hand, for Fulham, it was a 0-0 ball fest against Brighton and Hove Albion, with Danny Welbeck having a goal disallowed in that game, but Fulham did hold on to a point, and for them it is 18th in the table with 9 points of 13 games, where Newcastle, however, actually have 17 points of 12 games, sitting in 14th. But I do actually think it'll be a draw in this game. Both teams aren't scoring lots of goals. They're struggling for form at the moment, not getting up too much points, so I think it will be a draw, and I will give this a 2-2 draw. Next game is Brighton versus Sheffield United. As I've already said, Brighton did have that 0-0 draw with Fulham, but Sheffield United on the other hand did lose 3-2 at the hands of Manchester United, going in front via David McGoldrick before Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford with a brace, securing a 3-2 win for Manchester United. And David McGoldrick did get another consolation goal in the 87th minute, but it was not enough and could not make the turnaround, as Sheffield United do sit bottom of the Premier League with 1 point of 13 games. Not good at all for them, and they really need to get some points now, or Chris Wilder will be under a lot of pressure. But for Brighton as well, they're not doing very good at the moment, but a win against Sheffield United will put them ahead of Arsenal, who are on 15th. So I think it's vital for them to get the win here. I do think Brighton will win this game, but it's how much, because Sheffield United just not scoring enough goals at the moment. Ryan Brewster not doing enough for them, who was their big signing this summer, along with Aaron Ramsdale not being good enough, conceding a lot of goals. So I think Brighton will win this one, and I think they'll win this one 3-0. Next game in the Premier League is a huge one, and it is Tottenham Hotspur versus Leicester City. Now Tottenham, as I said, did lose 2-1 to Liverpool. Not a great result for them, but they will be looking to bounce back from this one. So will Jose Mourinho will want to. But Leicester City, on the other hand, not doing very well. As I said, Leicester City, I predicted this as well. Everton doing very well against Leicester. You know, Leicester just aren't consistent enough this season. Yes, you know, at the start of the season, they got a lot of points, did very well for themselves, but it's not been consistent enough. And in their last game, they did lose 2-1 to Everton. Mason Holgate and Richarlison scoring in a good win for them. But again, Leicester City will be looking to try and get some points here. But Tottenham, as I said, will be looking to bounce back because they do sit second with 25 points. Leicester sit in fourth with 24 points, only 1 point behind. But I do think Tottenham will win this one. I don't think he'll be the most comfortable either. Leicester will make it difficult under Brendan Rodgers. They do look quite secure at times in big games, like they did against Arsenal, like Man City, etc, etc. So I do think Tottenham will win this one, and it will be a 1-0 win for them. Next one is quite a big one as well in this match day, and this is Manchester United versus Leeds United, the Pennines derby on the coast, the west coast, or whatever coast it is. Yeah, I think it's the west coast as well in England. And Manchester United versus Leeds United, a huge rivalry back in the day actually, and it is called the Pennines derby. I kind of searched that one up in my little research, so I think that's in the title as well. But it's going to be a big game for both sides. As I said, Leeds United with that 5-2 win over Newcastle, and Manchester United with that 3-2 win over Sheffield United. So high scoring games for both teams, and I think both teams, you know, they need this win as much as the other. And I think Manchester United, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, still a lot of pressure on him with all the situation that's going on within the club, Paul Pogba, Harry Maguire, etc. So I think a win for him, just to get more pressure off him, will be very much needed. But for Leeds United as well, they want to continue their form in the league. They are sitting in 13th with 17 points, so very much in the midst for a mid-table finish. That's what they want to go for, you know, especially survive the Premier League this season. Manchester United in 6th now, 23 points, not that far off the top actually, only 5 points. So all the pressure that's on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe not all of it's deserved, but we'll have to see. And in this game against Leeds United, I do think Leeds will win. I think they'll shock United in this one. I think Marcelo Bielsa will know how much this game means to the club and all the fans, so I think they will turn up for this one, and I think Leeds United will win this one 2-1. Next game in the Premier League is West Brom versus Aston Villa. Now for West Brom, in their last game, they had a 0-0 draw against Burnley. Sorry, not West Brom. Aston Villa had a 0-0 draw against Burnley, and Emi Martinez getting another assist in the Premier League, doing very well from his move from Arsenal. And West Brom did have that 1-1 draw against Manchester City, bringing in a new manager as they did sack Slaven Bilic. So in interesting times for West Brom, they did bring in Sam Allardyce. Big Sam is here to save West Brom from relegation. West Brom do sit in 19th with 7 points of 13 games, so maybe it was the right decision to sack Slaven Bilic. I would have given him a few more games, but they have decided to sack him, so it'll be very interesting to see how Big Sam does. But again, in this game against Aston Villa, it's going to be very difficult for West Brom to get any points. But Aston Villa not having the greatest time at the moment, sitting in 11th with 19 points. Still good for them, but you know, considering how well of a start they had, 7-2 over Liverpool, maybe it's, you know, not great for them. So I think Aston Villa will bounce back in this one, and I do expect them to get an easy win in this one. It will take time for Sam Allardyce to get this team going, but I think they will win this game, and it'll be a 4-1 win for Aston Villa. Next game is Burnley versus Wolves. As I said, Burnley did actually draw 0-0 against Aston Villa, but looking at the other team, which was Wolves, they actually had a really good win, which was against Chelsea, a 2-1 win against Chelsea, in which Olivier Giroud opened the scoring before Daniel Podence and Pedro Neto scoring 2 goals to get the winners for Wolves, Wolverhampton Wanderers. And a good win for them, because, you know, they're doing very well at the moment. You know, after a slowish start, you know, they're now back on track with 20 points off 13 games and sitting in 10th place. And against a Burnley team that haven't been that great this season, only one good result, which was against Arsenal. 10 points of 12 games for them, sitting in 17th. I think Wolves will quite kind of easily win this one. I think they'll do a battering of Burnley in this one. Just the way the two teams play, I think it'll work in the favour of Wolves, which is why I'll give Wolves a 5-0 win in this one. The last game is Chelsea versus West Ham. As I said, they did lose 2-1 at the hands of Wolves, but West Ham, they did also have a 1-1 draw. As I said, Sebastian Haller scoring that amazing goal, which was against Crystal Palace. And for West Ham at the moment, they're doing alright. Yes, they drew their last game, but, you know, looking at the other teams, you know, they're not far off, you know, only 7 points off the top. sitting in 8th with 21 points off 13 games. So I think West Ham will go into this game with quite a lot of confidence. Obviously Sebastian Haller hopefully looking to kick on, but Chelsea, they had 2 defeats, like Everton, Wolves, so you know they will be looking to try and get some form back within themselves, who do slump to 7th, 22 points off 13 games. So I think Chelsea, you know, they need to get their act back together. A good chance to do that against West Ham. I think they will do that, which is why I'll give Chelsea a win in this one. I think they'll get a 2-1 win in this one. So that is it for my Premier League predictions for match day 14. Do you agree or disagree? And leave your thoughts and predictions in the comment section down below. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.